as I was really finishing wrapping up my day and like really getting prepared to go to sleep, I had the inner monologue reflection of how oftentimes you don't recognize how much you've grown until you've been put in a situation that you would have reacted to differently before you completed your growth process. And it's only in that moment or when you confronted with such said situations that you realize how you've grown, because how you chose to deal with and navigate that situation is a contrast in some way to how you would have dealt with it before. So at times when you find yourself questioning how much you've grown, remember that you're with yourself at all times, so you don't recognize in all the ways that you're flourishing. But it's easy for someone watching you go through the process to see that in you. How I came about this was because I met with a counselor of mine slash like mentor, and I was sharing with them how an individual at work was antagonizing me and wanted to get a reaction on me, but I didn't give them the reaction they wanted. And I recorded a video about this, and depending on when this come out, y'all probably see that. Just to reiterate the situation, I work at a culture center, and this individual called me uneducated and was demeaning me for using AAVE. It doesn't matter regardless of like how often I use it, but I simply said we ain't got none. And it led to them like antagonizing me and following me for over an hour plus, trying to gaslight me, demean my intelligence, and undermine all the factual stuff. So for context, one of my degrees is African and African American diaspora studies, and I also my other degree is English with the focus in creative writing, which is intercorrelated. But she was trying to say like it didn't exist. She uses it herself. Saying that it didn't exist, was calling me uneducated, was saying some things about my parents and the environment which I grew up in, and like all these other things. And I handle it so well and smoothly. And at the end of the conversation, well, first I had asked them why are they so upset. And then I had also went into and it was like stupid. They was just shook. Ain't had nothing to say. And then I went on with I was like I'm not sure. I was like well, did you feel disrespected? I was like, I'm not quite sure in this case how that would have came off as disrespectful, but that was not my intent. I was adamant on not apologizing because one, didn't have nothing to apologize for, and like if you don't feel sorry for something, don't apologize. And I was like I'm not sure like how saying we ain't got none would be disrespectful if you felt disrespected. I'm not sure how, but that was not my intent. Whatever. And then she was just like silent, ain't say nothing. Then was like, well, I don't feel disrespected. I was like, well, you seem upset. I was like, you seem quite upset, so I'm not sure why you feel upset. I thought I was done there, y'all. No, like continue on, but then they like pivoted. Either way, and being put in that situation, I was very aware of how, though I felt hot and the anger boiling inside my soul, and the inside, I notice now, like when I enter situations like that, I feel this calmness take over me. That like I know like I'm not showing it on the outside, and I'm like handling it so well and not allowing that individual to see I'm riled up and not allowing myself to react that way. And the first time that this happened to me, as far as like me noticing this pivot and how I handle these type of situations, was 2020. Yes, I believe it was 2020. And then I was scared of myself because it was so, I recognized how, that was like, I was confronted with the first time of how much I had changed, but I was like, I didn't know what to expect of myself, because I was like, that's so dangerous, right? Okay, let me, I guess, try to explain why that was kind of scary. I didn't, in this space, I was regressing in how, as a child, in like other situations to this point, but really like how the root of it was from childhood, of when I was confronted with, like, when I was being attacked in situations, me just being silent, and even if not reacting, even in not reacting, I was being implicit in allowing these individuals to treat me in such a way. So since I was doing this, like, that's how up until this point I was navigating this, like, these type of situations that happened to me at work. Because this wasn't the first time at all that this individual had did stuff like this to me, but this was the first time I had spoke up for myself. And just enough, although like, I spoke up for others when she did this for to others and stuff, but like I hadn't ever spoke up for myself. So it was like I had broken this chain that I was allowing upon myself in some way, and shifting out of the mindset of, because the individual has this perceived position of power, or even like trying to me trying to be respectful to that individual. Like, don't allow a person to disrespect you out of try to hold this respect, and this, respectability politics and all that bull. So I freed myself, and I didn't recognize how much all this was taking a toll on my mental state and how I was moving forward, and even how I was navigating academics. Like, I have not felt good at all. I know it's time for me to go to sleep because my voice getting raspy. Like this last, 2 going on 3 weeks now. Like, I had got sick, and it was just like this onslaught of stuff, but I didn't recognize how much your environment impacts your mood and your mindset. So I'm no longer playing small. Like, I'm no longer allowing a person to make me feel inferior. I'm no longer allowing a person to try to, what would you say, abuse their position or my loyalty or respect, especially when I've already understood what type of individual you are. And getting here, I'm just practice relearning and retraining your mind now, okay? Because you're not going to be able to navigate in the spaces that you praying for and that you being put in if you continue to operate from a space of which you're not able to receive what you want. Like, just be yourself. Be yourself, be seen. Be yourself, be seen. There's nothing wrong with being seen. And I don't care if you got a fear of being seen. That comes from somewhere. At some point in time, like, and this is gonna be that'd probably be a whole nother video, but at some point in time, your biggest fear, like the things you react most adversely to, are the things you were deprived of in some capacity when you were younger. Well, not even when you were younger. It's some capacity in your experience, in addition to you were once told or shown there wasn't a space for that, or rather, not that there wasn't actually space for that, but you wasn't allowed a space for that. Let's say you like anime, but when you was younger, like, anime is quote unquote like kind of like cool now. Wasn't for me growing up. It was like that was something that was like not talked about. Like you a geek, you a nerd, and a loser, all this other stuff. Like, say you like anime, but that's something you try to share with people, like friend groups or whatever, but you was like mocked for it. So this thing you love all of a sudden became a thing people kind of, I don't want to go to the extreme side of like hated you for, but that's something you was kind of mocked for and demeaned. So it's like you begun to associate these emotions with this thing you love. So, and how that can shift how you see and come to accept certain things. So untrain your mind from that. Don't allow that, and be abundant, be happy, and stop questioning what gives you life. What makes you happy is what makes you happy, and don't allow other people to make you question it, because it's not for them, it's for you. So on that note, I'm finna go watch anime. But wonderful night to you, or a wonderful day, or lunch, good evening. I need to, I'm gonna decompress. Love, balance, wholeness, ease upon you. And I hope you learn to love yourself a little bit more each day. And that's all for this one. Untitled.